The most mystical places in the world. There are places on Earth that have incredible mystical power. Many scientists devote their lives to studying the unique properties of mysterious objects. Some of them are very well studied, others are just waiting to be studied. But even the most famous mystical places in the world do not fully reveal their secrets and give rise to fantasies. Why does everything mysterious have such an attractive force for us? Most likely, all people believe in magic since childhood. Our list contains the most mystical places in the world where there is still a place for miracles and mysteries. Bloody Waterfall. The unique Bloody Waterfall is located in Antarctica. The blood-red stream is fed by the Lake of Taylor Glacier. For the first time this phenomenon was talked about in the early 20th century. Griffith Taylor, who discovered this miracle in 1911, suggested that algae found in the lake under the glacier give this color to the water. After conducting research, scientists have found that the oldest, smallest organisms are in the water. These microorganisms are more than 1.5 million years old. The water in the Bloody Waterfall contains iron and a large amount of salt. Its salinity is an order of magnitude higher than that of seawater. When leaving the glacial reservoir, the water reacts with oxygen and acquires such an intimidating color. The waterfall occupies the last place in our ranking of the most mystical places on Earth. Sanjay Resort. There is an abandoned resort town of Sanjay on the island of Taiwan. This prestigious complex was built in the 1980s for wealthy merchants. The houses look like UFO plates, and the entire infrastructure is saturated with the ideas of extraterrestrial communities. However, due to the outbreak of the crisis and mystical events, the station under construction was never opened. According to rumors, many builders died of unknown diseases, suffered from accidents. The residents decided that the place of the resort is cursed, it is the abode of evil spirits. When the resort opened, no one wanted to buy a house there. Now the crumbling buildings plunge tourists into a painfully depressive mood. The ghost town of Sanjay ranks 9th among the most mystical places in the world. Heisu Valley. A mysterious valley in China, Heisu, a hollow made of black bamboo. Shrouded in mysticism because of the large number of people disappearing there. The Heisu Valley is beautiful and majestic. Mountains, water, forests and thick fog constantly covering protected areas. The Chinese consider the valley a disastrous place and avoid it. They say it's easy to get there, but it's impossible to get out. Only curious tourists come to the valley to experience extraordinary experiences, but perhaps not all of them return. El Hotel del Salto. In the Colombian countryside of San Antonio del Tequendama is the mystical Hotel del Salto. It is built in the Gothic style, stands on the edge of a cliff, and is surrounded by a rather picturesque mountain landscape. Nearby, the Tequendama waterfall carries its stormy waters. Built in 1927, the hotel was in great demand, but hard times came, and in 1990 it closed. Like any abandoned dwelling, the hotel quickly began to deteriorate and turn black. The dark, deserted place has become a magnet for suicides. There are legends that their souls live in the rooms of an abandoned hotel. Lake Rupkund. In India there is a mystical Lake Rupkund, Skeleton Lake. It is located at a high altitude in the Himalayas, 29 meters. Every year after the snow melts, hundreds of skeletons line the shores of the lake. In the 19th century, pilgrims came across such a cemetery on their way to the holy place of Honkund. But scientists did not manage to see the inaccessible lake until 1942. Then the mysterious place was explored by whole expeditions of researchers. About 600 skeletons were found on the shore of the reservoir. Most of them were men. What kind of massacre took place here about 800 years ago? Researchers have been solving this mystery for a long time. Who these people were and where they went is unknown. But it is known how they died. They were killed by hailstones the size of a grill ball, L equals 7 centimeters. The place was open and people had nowhere to hide. Some of them were dragged into the lake and a lot of the dead were left on the shore. Pavelia Island. At the center of the rating of the most mystical places in the world is the terrifying island of Venice, Paveglia. Due to military operations in the 14th century, the inhabitants of the island were evacuated and did not return. This secluded place was remembered during the plague. The dead and the sick who died there began to be brought here. On a shelter for the destitute, a psychiatric hospital, was opened in 1922 on Pavli. There were rumors that not only crazy people, but also the staff saw ghosts walking along the corridors. In 1968, the hospital was closed and the island became uninhabited. Fans of mysticism come here for another portion of thrills. Machu Picchu City. Machu Picchu is the lost city of the Incas. It is located in Peru on the side of a mountain range, 2450 meters. The city escaped looting by the Spaniards. He managed to avoid invading a remote mountainous region of the Andes. For a long time, no one knew about the existence of this mystical place. The high city was found only in 1911. Scientists have established that Machu Picchu was abandoned by local residents in an organized manner. No one knows what led to his disappearance. The place is very beautiful and with a strong energy. The Inca city has yet to be fully explored and is full of unsolved mysteries and secrets. It ranks fourth in our ranking of the most mystical places. Pyramids of Giza and the Sphinx. The Egyptian pyramids of Giza and the Sphinx are the last wonders of the world that have withstood the pressure of destructive time. For thousands of years they proudly flew towards the rising sun. During the day, crowds of idle people dispel the mystical feeling. Only in the late evening or early morning you can feel the splendor of the largest ancient structures. Many archaeologists have studied these antiquities, but most of the mysteries have remained unsolved. In our rating, these mystical majestic structures occupy the third place. Paris Catacombs. The Paris Catacombs are underground tunnels under the city, the length of which is approximately 300 kilometers. Historians estimate that there are more than 6 million skeletons in the tunnels. At first limestone was quarried in quarries, but when the Paris cemeteries could no longer accommodate the dead, crypts were built there. The city was growing, there was an improvised necropolis under it. Experts believe that, because of the millions of homeless people whose remains are in plain sight, a monstrous mass of dark energy accumulates here. The catacombs of Paris are not only one of the most mystical places in the world, but also one of the most frightening. Mariana Trench. To the west of the Pacific Ocean lies the deepest and most mysterious place on the planet, called the Mariana Trench. Over the years, more than one expedition has tried to explore these places at least a little. Thanks to the latest technologies, scientists were able to determine the depth of the depression, which is 11 kilometers. Many unusual and unexplained collisions at the bottom of the Mariana Trench occurred during expeditions of scientists around the world. This place holds many secrets and riddles. When the curtain was opened, underwater and heavy vehicles were allowed to enter. Thanks to them, a rich society of animals, both known and unknown marine life, arose. At the same time, the researchers themselves do not refute the possibility that terrible monsters live in the depths of the water. The abyss knows how to keep its secrets, and the latest technologies have not yet learned to fully unravel them. Stonehenge. The most mysterious and mystical place on Earth is Stonehenge. It was built about 5,000 years ago and is located in England. Who installed this grandiose complex, and how? After all, its creator had great technical skills and knowledge in the field of many sciences, mathematics, astronomy, architecture. What was the real purpose of the complex? Scientists have been struggling with these mysteries for a long time. Numerous suggestions have been made, from the construction of Stonehenge by Druids to the intervention of magical power in the person of the wizard Merlin. Perhaps scientists will be able to unravel the secrets of Stonehenge, but for now it keeps its secrets under lock and key.